Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and this is my Nerdarchy takeover video. Can't stop this. So listen, I'm going to talk about a couple of comics that I'm doing, just to give you an idea of what's going on, and comics I'm reviewing and what else I'm doing on my channel. And then I'm going to talk about one final comic that I'm reviewing, that I've been reviewing for a while now. Character I absolutely love that I think will seriously help out with your game. The trick is, wait for it. Okay, check this out. First off, Batman Beyond. All right, Batman Beyond issue number 14 just came out. There is a brand new story here. If you guys remember the comic, or excuse me, the cartoon from back in the day, the animated series, it was amazing. I mean, right or wrong, came out of nowhere and it just, wow, all right? They've been making comics of this character for a while now. They're back on track and they are seriously connecting the dots between the old and the new, all right? The original Batman and this current level Batman. It is really amazing. Dan Jurgens is doing this, who is a longtime comic fan, longtime comic writer, and currently writing Superman at the same time. This is, trust me guys, this is really worth it. Moving on, we got Demon, Hell is Earth. Now, if you guys know the demon Etrigan, gone, the form of man, arise the demon Etrigan. Some really amazing work. This is a character created by Jack Kirby, this guy named Jason Blood, who wields all sorts of crazy magic. He's a millennia and a half old. And the main thing he's got is when he recites that line that I just gave, he changes. His skin burns away and he turns into the demon Etrigan, being that who rhymes everything that he says. And just, he's nuts. He's incredibly strong. He can jump and fly and leap around all over the place and tear through people. He could probably go one-on-one with the Hulk, for crying out loud, how strong he is, probably. And he's also wielding magical blasts of energy, and just, there's like no stopping this guy. And the stories that they have, the demonic possession and whatnot, really incredible stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. Doomsday Clock issue number 1 is probably the big deal that's out right now. Now, I did not love this comic. At the same time, I did not hate this comic. This comic is supposed to be a throwback from Jeff Johns, the genius who's responsible for the Blackest Night storyline, for making Hawkman and Aquaman relevant again in the DC universe, for starting the whole Flashpoint thing and saying don't go on to the New 52. This guy has been influential in DC Comics like you could not possibly put a single number on. It's amazing the work that he's done. Now he's starting on this new project that it's been hyped forever, but is it good? It doesn't really give us anything. For an issue 1 that we've been told about for a long time and given no information about, and it's relevant in so many different comics, for this issue to come out and actually just give us more questions, it's weird. To say the very least, it's weird. So go ahead and check out the review for a little bit more on that. Yeah, it's a rather divisive review that I did, but whatever, man. With everybody else praising the book, I didn't get it. So go check that out. Guys, Flash issue number 35. We get to see an old character who we thought dead come back, and I'm going to give you a spoiler that I didn't give in the comic review that I did itself. The God of Lightning has returned, and this is what this proposes for the future of Barry Allen. It's kind of nuts. On top of that, there's a murder mystery over in Iron Heights Penitentiary where Barry Allen, the Flash, is now employed. Very much against his will, too. More on that in the comic. Guys, Invincible Iron Man, issue number 594, excuse me. The search for Tony Stark begins. Tony Stark was put into a coma about 2 years ago, and Dr. Doom took up the Iron Man armor, and Riri Williams, his protege, his chosen protege, has taken up the armor also. And they're both kind of competing for bringing honor to Iron Man, to Tony Stark's name, which is funny because Tony Stark was never interested in bringing honor to his own name. Go figure. Anyway, so these two have a common cause now. Somebody has stolen the body of Tony Stark. Or did it get up and walk away by itself? It's a really weird story. Plus, Tony Stark's AI, his artificial intelligence, is still around. And it's him, for all intents and purposes, but it doesn't even know what's going on. So the Church of Tony Stark, could you imagine that? That might give you some ideas for a campaign. But the search for Tony Stark begins. The Punisher Platoon, issue number 3 of 6. Garth Ennis is writing The Punisher again. For some of you, that's enough. That's enough. Just get back and start reading this comic book. But if you want to know how Frank got his start in Vietnam, his very first fights, right before the Tet Offensive took place, this is an amazingly immersive comic. On top of that, I give from my own military experience, I give an explanation because there's no explanation in the comic given for certain military terms and nomenclature. So I will give revelations into what some of these things mean at the end of the review, just so you guys can follow along. Finally, Thanos issue number 13. Thanos, the comic book Thanos has been up and then down, and then with this issue, it's back. We kind of get a what if, because Thanos gets to kind of be brought into the future. He's brought into the future by this version of Ghost Rider who used to be a herald of Galactus. Yeah, kind of sounds like season 1 of my FASERIP game, doesn't it? Anyway, so this, wow. He gets brought into the future and he's told that he destroys everything in the future. And it's somehow got to be undone. And who's the person telling him this? It's the future him. This is a crazy issue, and I can't wait to see what happens next in this series. It's called Thanos Wins. Could you imagine that, if Thanos actually won? If I did have to recommend anything else, it would be XMen Gold, issue number 16, because it's been really bad for the last several issues. I'd say 5. Wasn't that good. I was actually thinking about dropping off if this issue didn't turn me on, and it does. Wow, this issue really did a major turnaround, and it's big up there. Big thing I want to talk about, though, guys, is Black Panther, issue number 167. I'm going to get into that in just a second. I know, you might be thinking I'm not interested in Black Panther. Hold your britches, because this is going to give you not ideas for a single mission or a campaign in your D&D or fantasy world, whatever, and it doesn't matter which timeline it's in. No. This is going to give you an idea for an entire campaign universe. This is really good stuff. So hold for that in a minute. I also want to throw up that some Justice League footage has dropped, and I just earlier on today, it'd be yesterday for you guys if you're watching this on Monday. Anyway, it's Sunday for me now. And I just did a review of the leaked footage. Didn't show it. That would be illegal. But I did give a little bit of backstory into certain areas. It seems to be a pretty high interest video. By all means, check it out if you're interested in the movie coming up, Avengers Infinity War. Guys, more than that, if we had to go into it, the Runaways on Hulu is looking like an absolutely amazing, absurdly amazing TV series, and people are going gaga for it. I am individually referencing each video. I'm actually doing 3 videos at a time to explain each of the stories as they come out. Only 3 videos are being dropped per week by Hulu. So I've never actually watched Hulu before. So they give you time to catch up. But more than that, I'm explaining each of the Runaways as the story progresses so that you guys can follow along. And again, I explain these things in a minute. So far I've explained 3 of the Runaways thus far. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has dropped, and I will be putting out a spotlight on story later on this week on the new alien race that was created there. And there will be no spotlight, or there will be no explained in a minute for that particular story. There's no need. I explain everything inside of this lousy 20-minute video where you could find out everything you need to know about this new alien race that is begrudging the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So finally, Black Panther, the issue is 167. Now, I know it sounds like it's a lot, and I'm going to tell you to read all of the issues. I'm going to tell you to read every single issue in this series, and you're going to say, 167 issues? There's no way, Professor Bill. Here's the deal. Marvel Legacy just renumbered the issues back to what they should be. So if you've got, let's say, 4 issues of Volume 1, 6 issues of Volume 2, 20 issues of Volume 3, 18 issues of Volume 4, and all these different issues, what they did was, with this Marvel Legacy renumbering, is they took all of these individual issues, 4 plus 6 plus 20, and so forth, and they combined them and said, okay, so far, with all of the solo runs that Black Panther has had, and he's had a lot. He even took over the Daredevil comic for a while. Yeah. So they said, okay, right now he would be up to issue number 167. So, boom. But 2 issues ago in this volume, it was at issue number 20, was it? Maybe it was 18. So I'm telling you right now, there's only about 20 issues in this comic. Now, why am I telling you to read this whole thing? Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing this. He is a renowned writer from the Atlantic. He's done some incredible masterpiece work, and he is actually writing for the Black Panther comic book. Now, you know the movie's coming out, and it's looking like it's amazing. This issue just revealed something. We've seen build up to this, but we didn't know how deep it was going to go. This issue builds up to something that is amazing. And it is something that if you were to choose just steal wholesale what he's writing, you would make an incredible, immersive, very imaginative campaign world. I'm talking a universe, all right? I'm talking off-planet, yeah. What this guy does in this is he brings about the idea that this extremely powerful nation of Wakanda, the most powerful nation on Earth, the richest nation at the very least on Earth, this nation, which has never been invaded, well, has oftentimes been invaded, but never been conquered before, this nation was actually built upon the precipice of a lie. Oh yeah, imagine that. So the national pride of this country is actually all based on false equivalency. They have themselves actually conquered other species, other races who lived there once before. And you get to kind of meet these races. We're going to get more into that a little bit later as the comic book progresses, but for now you get to see some of these. I'm talking like two-headed Ettins, spider people, all sorts of crazy imaginative ideas that's just like steeped in mythology, steeped in video game lore, steeped in Dungeons and Dragons history. And somehow the Wakandans, the original Wakandans, with their Panther god Bast, have conquered these people and built upon this sacred holy land. So all that is theirs was not originally theirs. Now the people believed the myths, the rumors, the lies that they built this land from scratch, that there was no one there before, and all that crazy stuff, this social disposition of the native peoples, the aboriginals from the land. But the king, T'Challa, T'Chaka was his father, T'Challa, the Black Panther, he now learns in this issue what's going on, what actually happened. But if he tells his people, it could demoralize them. But should he tell them the truth? Either way, the Orishi, the gods, have disappeared from the universe, from Wakanda. So they're now without gods, but there are these gates open to demon worlds all over the place, and he's going around trying to stop them. The problem is, it's not only letting in demons to be fought, but it's letting in information to be deciphered. So the king now has learned this horrible history that they are actually conquerors themselves. When they thought that they were just defending their lands, they actually started on a conquering land. So the people, what would they feel if it turns out that their history were a lie? How would they feel? What would that do to the people? Guys, I myself see so many campaign ideas in just this story that's being told alone that it's absurd. And it's the reason why I decided to stop this video, to actually stop talking about the other comics, just to give you this expression of what I'm reading in the current pages of the Black Panther. Guys, I'm telling you, go out and get issue number 1. All right, and if you want, go and check out my link. Check out my link, and I've in the description box, I've actually got a link giving you access to the digital comics for the lowest price possible. If you want to actually go out and grab the comics, by all means, go out and grab those comics, by all means. If you want to hunt for all the digital comics by themselves and figure it out, that's fine. But like I said, there's a renumbering. So all I'm trying to do is make life a little bit easier for you guys. You go ahead and you check it out. Find all of these issues, read all of these issues. It should cost you approximately $40, because at $3.99 each issue, $40. It's well worth it. Marvel deserves the money as far as I'm concerned. This is, to me, one of the most amazing campaign ideas possible. This may very well be in a season 3 for my Marvel FASERIP game with the Nerdarchy guys and everybody involved. This literally dropped me. I looked at it like, what am I reading here? How is there so much history in this? So, you want to run a game similar to a Marvel FASERIP game? You want to turn this into a Dungeons & Dragons game? You want to turn this into something in the far future, like a Star Frontiers game or something like that? You want to make this into a Star Wars fantasy flight game? It doesn't matter. Whatever system you're going to play, whatever universe, whatever timeline you're going to play in, this is such a brilliant campaign plot. Every single thing that's happening in this comic series, I'm shocked. I'm completely beside myself. So you got two choices. Go back and read all the comic books that I've read in my history and retain all that information and turn it into a game similar to the Marvel FASERIP game, or just read these particular 40 issues, which may very well give you just as much. I am impressed beyond belief. I'm practically beside myself with how good this was. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. I'm going to turn the reins back over to Nerdarchy. They can have you guys for another week. I'll be back. All right, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Hey, don't forget, Monday, 8 o'clock, New York Standard Time, Marvel FASERIP game. Bring your percentile dice. I'll have mine. All right, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.